And so about a year into that, I was dating that same girl that I had stayed with in Shanghai for, it was now coming up on like 2.5 years. And I was like beginning to see a bit of a future with her. And then it was about at the 2.5 year mark, and I was 1 year into building my business, not with a whole lot of success. And so at that like year mark all of a sudden, in my mind, it was all of a sudden my girlfriend breaks up with me. And it kind of like threw me for a loop, and I went down this like spiraling depression of, fuck, like I thought this was the woman of my dreams. I thought this was like the woman I was gonna like marry and be with, and it's not. And looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. However, one of the things I latched onto that she said was, look, Rich, you're great, but you're just not the right guy for me. Like I don't want to be with a teacher. I don't like that profession isn't prestigious, or isn't like, I'm not inspired by that profession, and I'm not inspired by someone in that profession. That's for one. Okay. As well as if we were ever to have kids and I wanted to stay home, she felt that she would never be able to do that on just solely my salary. So then she felt this pressure of, I always need to be working for the rest of my life, even if we have kids, because the guy I'm with can't support all of us. Yeah. It is what it is, and it worked out for the best purpose ever. So it's okay. And that's just, but again, the other thing I really, really want to drive home is that we said a lot. We said hours of stuff in that breakup, but that's what I chose to latch onto. That's what somewhere in my being, I latched onto that. Right. And so I could have easily forgotten she even said it, and latched onto something different. But for whatever reason, that's what I latched onto. And that just gave me more motivation, because I was already in this transition of, I really, really want to be an entrepreneur. I really want to do my own thing, grow something for myself. And so it was like, for me, it was a bit of just like a kick in the gut, because I was already pursuing something else for myself. And then the person I was with was like, so the thing I was moving actually away from this profession. And again, I love teaching, and I've come to this conclusion I'll share later, that it is who I am and I'm not pushing away. However, this thing I'm pushing and moving away from towards something else, she was then like holding against me this thing I was actually moving away from. So I was like, you motherfucker, like that just gave me the fire and the motivation that I'm going to make this work no matter what. Right. So that was
but was she moving away from you because of the teaching, or was she moving away from you because you were moving from teaching to the Kangen water? You know what I mean? Like, was she like, Richard, what you're doing isn't going to, like, what you plan to transition to is probably not a solid idea.
I'm sure. Well, I'm seeing her boyfriend fail for a year. I'm sure that idea crossed her mind. If I was coming home with, 6-figure checks a month, I'm sure she would have thought differently. So I'm sure that plays a role into it. But I was like going out meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and reading and studying and all this stuff, and it was just like zeros. And again, it took a hit to my ego, but I just latched on like deeper and stronger. Like, fuck, I'm gonna make this work. I'm committed to this, because I realized at the time that the reason why this thing wasn't successful wasn't because of the thing. And I really realized that it's never the thing. It's you. It's the operator of the thing. If I go out and do a podcast tomorrow and it doesn't reach 1 million subscribers, it's not because the podcast thing doesn't work. It's because I'm not working. It's because my abilities, my skill set, my mastery is not good enough for it to hit X level.
You're always going to start with something small, regardless, right? Like, this podcast isn't going to hit 1 million people. That doesn't mean that you and I are doing a piss poor job. It's just the fact that I have like 100 followers,
Right. But why do you have 100 followers and not 10,000 followers?
Richard, last year I had 12 followers.
Awesome, man.
Right. So that's my point.
But why did you go from 12 followers to 100 followers?
I kept posting content. Now when I post a new video, I get 6 or 7 new subscribers.
That's exactly what I was saying. That's what I was trying to communicate earlier, was that it's not the podcast or the YouTube platform that sucks. Like, imagine it's that you haven't been around long enough. You haven't showed up enough. You haven't put content on enough. You haven't marketed it enough. Whatever the thing is enough of, is that it's not the platform or the thing, it's you.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I believe. Like, if you had done that first video on the podcast, you're like, shit, like, I only have 12 subscribers this year. Like, shit, this stuff doesn't work. I'm going to try writing a book this year. And you try writing a book this year. And you know what? I got 2 buyers this year. This doesn't work either. I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm going to do a Twitch channel. After a year, this doesn't work. This isn't, you bounce instead of sticking like, look, I'm going to stick on the YouTube platform. I'm going to figure out this podcast space. And year after year, you get more views, more subscribers. You put out better content. You're more well spoken. You get better speakers. On and on and on and on. Your skill set in that area it improves.